Luxury brands are collapsing and in trouble. And it's not just about luxury cars, handbags, or hype. All across America, people are quietly stepping back from overspending, and instead they're choosing stability over status. And they are basically realizing that they have been overcharged all of this time. So back in our last video, we talked a lot about how the Starbucks Bear Cup craze is all the rage right now. People are lining up at 4 a.m. fighting over a glass cup that basically sold out within just minutes. So that story showed exactly how emotional spending still drives a lot of this chaos, how nostalgia and even scarcity can make people feel like they have to buy in order to belong. But now we're seeing the other side of that same story, Americans who are completely over it. So they are done buying to impress other people. They are done financing lifestyles for social media using Klarna and Afterpay. Because when peace of mind feels better than, status, then you know that the culture is changing.
I'm gonna tell y'all the moment that I stopped buying name brand stuff. I was 17 years old working at a boutique store on 63rd and 3rd. It was called Pookie and Sebastian. Now, while I was working there, I noticed the clothes that they had there, right? Everything says Pookie and Sebastian on it. Now, when you shop at Strawberries and all these other cheap ass places like Rainbow and stuff like that, the dresses in Pookie and Sebastian would sell for $200 to $250 to $300. The white folks there loved shopping there. They didn't give a damn. They thought they were shopping at Pookie and Sebastian, right? You go to Strawberries and the same dress is $19.99. I said, from that day that I found out, I'm never shopping for anything name brand. So I asked the person that I work with, I'm like, why is the dresses the same, and it's cheaper in Strawberries or in Rainbow? And she was like, well, they have a manufacturer in China and all they do is stitch the name Pookie and Sebastian onto the same products. They all have the same seller. So I never again shopped for anything name brand. I didn't give a damn. I didn't care about, I would make everything cheap look rich because I already knew everything comes from the same place, China.
So this first clip really pulls the curtain back on something that most of us already suspected all along, that luxury does not always mean quality. So this woman basically worked inside of a luxury retailer store, and she found that the same exact dress basically sold for $300 in the high-end luxury store and was actually sold $19.99 somewhere else. So this is what's called value distortion. It's basically when you're not paying for quality at all, but you're paying for psychology. You're basically paying for a logo, a story, or a lifestyle. And so luxury marketing basically thrives on this emotional scarcity. They make you believe that if everyone can't have it, then it must be something worth having. But in 2025, people are realizing that if a dress is made in the same factory as fast fashion, then maybe the only thing luxurious here is the markup price. And this is not just about clothing here. It's also about how these companies are manipulating perception. It's basically the illusion of exclusivity sold to the masses.
Get ready with me while I tell you why I don't buy designer bags anymore. By the way, my full-time job is to be a fashion editor, which means that I am always telling people to buy designer bags, and I think you should if you can afford it. But even though I spend all day looking at them, I don't buy them anymore. When I first graduated college and had a full-time income, every December I bought myself a designer bag. This only lasted for 2 Decembers, but I got myself the Gucci Jackie and the Louis Vuitton, just like this retro Louis Vuitton bag. I'm technically only 3 years out of college, so it hasn't been that long since I stopped buying designer bags, but there were some changes in my life that led to this decision. But before I get personal, I want to say that I've since decided that until my savings account balance is $100,000, I will not be buying another designer bag or a bag over the price of $500. Now for some personal background, I've just become extremely invested in the idea of personal wealth and generational wealth and things that I want to save up for that are so important to me. I became a homeowner at 23, and I think that made me realize the cost of owning a home and the fact that I want to own more of them. I just don't want to spend it on a designer bag until I have enough money for the down payment on a second home and to be able to actually pay my own mortgage off. I am no mathematician, but if I save the $2,500 it costs to buy a bag in today's market, and that is just like to buy a starter bag, not even like a Chanel or an Hermes bag that actually holds value. If I were to save that $2,500 and invest it every year, which is what I've been doing since I stopped buying designer bags, I can just tell you that the results will be insane. So again, I still will be writing articles about bag trends and designer bags that I think everyone should own, but I'm gonna tell you here on TikTok that if you can't afford them, I'd rather see you invest in your own long-term wealth.
So she said something that I think a lot of people can relate to right now, that, you know what, I'll just buy another bag when my savings hit 6 figures, okay? So that's not a downgrade at all, but that is emotional maturity, because even she realized that she does not want to just look rich, but she wants to be rich. So there's a quiet shift happening in this country, that after years of flex culture, probably from the early 2000s, and the treat yourself marketing, more people are turning towards financial realism, which includes budgeting, saving, and protecting their mental peace. And so we're calling it a quiet flex, that it's no longer about flaunting luxury, but it's also about having your finances together even when nobody sees it and it's all behind closed doors. And honestly, that is the best investment that you can make.
Another thing that I absolutely hate that is being so heavily influence in a positive way is the complete waste of money, especially for women. And it's so different. Like, women online are seen just completely wasting their money, while men are seen earning money, doing side hustles, making money, investing money, and that's seen like the norm. But women get pushed this content, and when influencers create more content about it, that it's okay to just go and waste your money on expensive, overpriced clothes, buying and it's so unfulfilling. It leads to nowhere, and all these people spending this money is on credit card debt, which who knows if they're paying it off. They don't have a single investment account. They don't have anything to their name except for luxury items. And you know why they keep going and buying more? It's because they're unfulfilled. But they're not unfulfilled because they don't have enough stuff and they think getting enough stuff will make them fulfilled. It's because there needs to be a greater purpose. You need to have an internal confidence that the money you have is growing, that you're not instinctually, that we are not trapped somewhere with no way out, that one day the ground can fall beneath our feet and we're left with nothing. But when you buy all this crap without having anything else to your name, without having investments, without having savings, emergency fund, then you feel unstable. Yes, you have a beautiful bag that's $5,000, $10,000 that you saved up for, but there's nothing else that is holding your confidence. You don't know if this is the last purchase you're going to make, so you're so desperate to make the next one. You need to be smarter with your money. Don't fall into these materialistic things. Don't be a sheep, okay? You have to be smart with your money. Invest it. Start a business. Save it. Honestly, if you don't know what to do with it, at least save it. But don't think that it will make you a better woman, a classier woman, a prettier woman if you go and spend $1,000 on a bag.
So she nailed it, that if you pay attention to this marketing that we see all over, there is a clear gender divide, that men are more so targeted with words like build, invest, and achieve. And women, they're targeted with that soft lifestyle, that deserve and indulge and treat yourself wording. So it's all emotional manipulation that's disguised as empowerment. And so the result here is higher spending habits, lower savings, and also the rising of credit card debt. And so from a financial literacy standpoint, this is called emotional monetization, that they sell you a feeling, not a product. And it's not just handbags, but it's also validation, it's comfort, confidence, all packaged in a shopping bag or a luxury car. Now, don't get me wrong. It does not mean that you can't love luxury. I love me some luxury, but it does mean that being aware behind every ad and social media post, there's a psychology team that's trained to make you feel like you are not enough until you buy something.
Maturing is realizing that a lot of material items are not worth it. A lot of materialistic purchases are performative. You're actually more so concerned with the reaction that you get from somebody else versus how the actual material item makes you feel. Me and my best friend have slowly started to get into watches. I'm 29, right? I have 3 watches. The one watch that I wear a lot is an Omega Speedmaster. Me and my best friend send watches damn near every day. Rolexes, AP, Cartier, Santos, you name it, we're sending it. Can I go buy Rolex right now? Yes. What is that doing for me though? My next watch purchase is gonna be on a bigger milestone for me, right? Because even though I like watches, I feel like buying something that expensive should mean something more to me, and it should be a milestone I'm hitting in my life. As you get older and start to mature and realize that on average for the regular person, all you want to do is have some level of financial stability, right? These items that we are seeking after don't really do much for you, especially after you have them for a little bit. A lot of the glamour around expensive items literally wears off days or weeks after you get it, because now you have it. It's yours, right? You have attained it. Now it's a regular piece of whatever that you own. I think the greatest flex, I've said this a lot, is just having a healthy bank account. I could pay my rent off for the year from August to August right now and not bat an eye. That's a flex. Trust me, there are plenty of people that really like to get that ultra luxury expensive items, but for the regular human being, the luxury material items actually will not do anything for you. You'll probably look back on the damn item like, why the fuck did I just buy this?
He says it perfectly, that people don't just buy for joy anymore. They basically buy things for validation. That it's not about what makes you happy, but it's basically, well, what would get the most likes. But that validation does fade out fast, and what's left behind is buyer's remorse and tons of credit card debt. So this is the new burnout, the financial burnout. And we've hit a point where Americans are emotionally tired of keeping up the appearances. And so that flex culture from the early 2000s, I'm sure it is, that wants to find what success is now starting to look like a financial trap. So that's where so many people are now starting to downsize. They're decluttering and even joining the no-buy movements. And so that's why so many people are now starting to downsize. They're downgrading, they're decluttering, and even joining no-buy movements. Because they're also starting to realize that less is not just more, but it's also freedom.
I was on the way to work, and I just want to say, do not upgrade your car if you do not have to. I am still driving my 2014 Nissan Altima from college that is completely paid off, and even when I did have payments on her, she was only $200. And that was way back when, and that's just simply not the reality of times now. I'm able to get the bags that I want, get the clothes that I want, the jewelry, go on trips because I'm a little bit more financially free in that bucket. And as much as I want to go get my Range, my Benz, my Porsche, I don't, because I necessarily just don't have to right now. There's nothing wrong with getting from point A to point B in your little hoopty. And when I'm ready to go get my big body, I will, and I am. But so many Americans are drowning from their car note each month, so just let this be your sign to hold out. It's me and my little hoopty and my Louis Vuitton against the world. Who is this diva? Just don't do it.
So this clip might be my favorite because it is so real. That she's basically keeping her paid off car and said, look, my hoopty still runs and I'm not in debt. And that right there, that is what luxury is to me, at least. That it's not the car, but it's the freedom. In a time where so many people are now struggling to make ends meet, driving a paid off car, I mean, hello, living within your means and also sleeping well at night, that is the ultimate status symbol. And so the new American dream is not just about having more, but it's also finally feeling more secure within what you already have. So what we're witnessing is not just a personal finance trend, but it's an economic symbol. That when people start buying fewer luxury items, economists call it a confidence contraction. And so that basically means that Americans are no longer confident in the market or in the idea that things will actually get better. And so they're saving, they're paying down debt, and they're avoiding these big, huge purchases. And so that's why we're seeing luxury sales dip, car upgrades are slowing down, and even retailers are starting to pivot to sell more affordable luxury. And so people are still spending, as we've seen, but they're just spending a lot more smarter. So whether it's cars, handbags, sneakers, the real takeaway is that Americans are done performing wealth. So if you missed my last video about the Starbucks bear cup craze and the chaos going on, watch that one next, because that story shows exactly how emotional marketing created this entire culture. And this video shows how Americans are now finally starting to break free from it. In this economy, the smartest flex is not luxury, but it's freedom, and freedom is the new status symbol. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, go ahead and like it, share it with a friend, someone who you know could actually use this reminder, or just to pick someone's brain to see what they think about this. I'm sure that they would be happy to start a conversation. And go ahead and subscribe for many more deep dives just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and we will chat down below in the comment section and see each other in the next video.